Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to Pefas Youth Online. This is Youth Split, and I am your host, Sharon Jogo. Welcome to another. It's still on our series relationship and part 2 of intentional dating. Now, the guy's perspective, and with me it's Brian. Hello, Brian.
Thank you. Hi, Shalmet.
Hi. Just tell us who Brian is.
Brian is father of 2, and he's also a techie, husband to a beautiful wife, and yeah.
Who was in the intentional dating part 1? So let's just get started. As a guy, how do you know that you're ready?
Ready to date?
Married.
Or ready to get married?
Yeah.
Okay. So for guys...
relationship.
Ready
married.
For relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
So for guys, it's a bit... It's a bit tricky because you see there's usually lots of pressure of by this age, or you need to have this certain amount of money and all that, but it's all in the mind. It doesn't matter what your age is, or as long as you have a certain level of maturity, and then you can say you're ready. Because if you're willing to give up, if you're looking at relationship as a pathway to marriage, and you're looking at dating as a pathway to marriage, and you are convinced that this is what you want, and you want to start dating for marriage, then you can start dating. Because whether you have 2 cents in your pocket or 1,000,000 shillings, that's not really the point. Yeah, the point is your level of maturity, because a guy is supposed to be sort of the head of the home. He's you're supposed to be the guide. So if you are not there yet, if you are still thinking about playing around, you have so many girlfriends all over the place, you just thinking about video games all the time, then I think you just need to need more time. You need to just to get there psychologically, because it's also a psychological shift that's required.
Yeah, I think you brought 2 important points where most of the guys that I know, they say that you must have these huge amounts of money because there is dowry, which it's true, you still need the cash, but they say dowry, there is wife maintenance, there are bills and all that. And then you've brought up the issue of maturity.
Yeah, so I also hear that a lot. So the thing is, marriage is not supposed to stop you from continuing in your career or continue progressing in the way you are. Marriage is not a life-sucking thing. You see, people usually get prepped up. People are like, I need to get money, I need to get all these things, I need to have a car, because they consider marriage as a life-sucking affair. It's a life-giving. It gives life. It gives more. You're not supposed to go there full so that someone can suck you dry. You go into it, and you and your partner come into it, and you help each other, and you complement each other, and you fill each other's cups. It's not supposed to be the other way around. And that is why people are usually obsessed with kind of like amassing all these things, having so many things before they can even think about marriage. But that's not really it, because marriage, you're supposed to help each other and build each other, because you're supposed, whatever you guys are going to be doing when dating, you can also do that when married. If she's trying to do PhDs and whatever, and you're trying to study and also trying to work your business, you can still do that stuff when married. So it should not be something that it should not be a negative thing. It should not be something that is kind of exhausting. You see, the thing is, if you approach it right, if you approach marriage right, it's going to be a beautiful thing. You know, I was watching a certain video. They were comparing marriage to having an ox in a shed, or like a horse, or like some sort of pet.
Yeah.
This ox will help with the farm and all that, but it'll poop as well. You know, so one solution of not having to deal with the poop is to get rid of the ox. But you know, you can. But you see, that also introduces other problems. So instead of you know, getting rid of the ox, you know, just learn to, because there's always going to be poop.
Yeah.
There's always going to be problems in marriage. There's
Yeah.
always in dating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just about trying to understand each other and, you know, work together.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
So what I can hear you saying is that life doesn't stop after marriage. Like it's a continuation. It's another part of continuation of life.
Yeah, exactly. Marriage is it's a, you know, it's a sweet part of life, I can say. If you handle it right, it has a lot of issues. It has a lot of problems. I
Yeah.
mean, me and wife, we've fought a lot, and we've made up a lot, and we've gone through a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of important. I think even if you're dating,
Yeah.
you know, there's always going to be fights. You know, if you're in a relationship and you guys have never fought, then don't get married yet. You have to have some sort of arguments. You have to see how this person looks when they're mad, how they behave, how they react. You know.
Yeah.
So I think you know, when you're dating, you just need to understand each other, and you need to be open to kind of communicate with each other, because I think that is, if you treat your dating right, it's going to be the same in marriage. Marriage does not, you don't get an elephant that just drops out of nowhere when you get married, when there's a ring on your finger. It's the same, it's the same thing. The same thing, experiences that you had when dating. If you're dating right, you know,
Yeah.
the same issues, and if you're able to solve them, that's what marriage is going to be. It's going to be like. Yeah, it's just that next phase, you know, of life.
Okay, so now let's talk of standards. Should a person have them before or after? And how do we come up with a standard as a guy?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So standards are really important even before you start thinking about dating. I think you should have standards in every sector of your life.
Yeah.
Even in your studies, even in your family, even in whatever you're doing. Hata kama unaenda dukani.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can, uwezi tuma dukani hapo, you start taking an hour. Like, you should have standards everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's, that would set a good trail for, you know, your whole life in general, and how much of an achiever you're going to be. But when it comes to dating, you must most definitely have standards, especially even before you, even standards for the person you're going to pick. Like, every one of us has like their own tastes and preferences, but don't focus much on the, you know, that side. Like me when I was looking for, you know, my spouse. So what I knew is, so I've always been, you know, mi nimekuwa nikipenda madem, you know, who are well endowed and all that. But you see, the outside is not really, because it doesn't really matter much. Because when I met my wife, hakuwa well endowed hivyo, you know. But you know, so I focused more on I focused more on her personality, because I could see her and I could talk to her, and we could have these really deep, intellectual conversations. Like sometimes I used to just find myself, I go all the way to, we were in hostel in the University of Nairobi then, and we'd just sit and we'd just talk. We'd talk and we'd talk about such varying topics, and and I feel like that is something that you're supposed to be looking at. When you're looking at the standards in your partner, you're supposed to be looking for someone who would help you reach where you want to, someone who will complement you. Also look for someone who has what you don't have. Most people tell me I usually have very low EQ, emotional intelligence. So my wife is the exact opposite. She's very, she has a lot of empathy, a lot of people skills, a lot of, she has all that nice aura, So when I was searching, that was also something that was in my mind.
Yeah.
Someone to also complement your weaknesses, because most people think they need to just get someone who's like them, to play basketball together or whatever. But we're so different, me and my wife, because we're always complimenting each other. Even in the movies we were watching, like I used to like this sci-fi action, and she would do like nice, sweet, soft, calm movies, and we'd just meet each other halfway. So when you're looking for a spouse, don't focus more on the outside. So this is the main point, because the outside changes. Squeezy manze amebeba, she's really nice, she's there. Like, I'm like, I'm so glad I wasn't looking at the outside when I met you, because your time alikuwa kamekonda, you wouldn't even think, But yeah, so character remains the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outside changes.
Yeah. And now you talked of a man leading. How do a guy prepare themselves to? I think for you to lead someone, you have to lead yourself first. How do you prepare yourself, or how do you become that leader before you start leading?
Yeah. So that's also a very good question. I think that aspect of leading, it shouldn't be mistaken for this just asserting your dominance, in a very male chauvinistic way, or in a very leading is it's a, leaders kind of pave the way for they make the way easier for whoever they're leading. So when you're preparing yourself for leading, it's more of you need to look at what you're doing. You need to look at it shouldn't be leading even in your workplace. Whatever you're doing, you just need to put an element of excellence into it. When you lead, when you're preparing yourself to lead, and when you're looking to lead, just try and see how you can better things, for other people, and not only for yourself. When you're looking, even when you're walking into, when you walk into a place and then you see there's a dustbin and kuna karatasi hapo iko chini, you can put it in the bin, as in it starts from very small things. It's not, leading is not something that you just start doing all of a sudden. It starts from even when you wake up, making your bed, it starts from such minute things that eventually become this whole other thing. So when you're leading, in this case would just mean, you being able to properly coordinate with your spouse and properly coordinate, and even, so in this case you don't have a spouse, you're looking for one. So it would mean even back at home with your small C's, with your family, it would just mean, having that, that element of excellence in whatever it is you're doing, having, doing things with, with your heart, and trying to better things for others. And I think when you start from there, it's a staircase. It's just a ladder that you climb up. When you look at it like that, it stops becoming this daunting thing, because when you're dating, it's supposed to be a two-way thing. It's not supposed to be just a one-way thing where you're the one when unasema hivi, and that's what happens. It's very two-way, and it's very like when it comes to leading, it's really, you communicate. It's a two-way traffic kind of communication, and then from there decisions are made on how to go forward.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What I can actually hear you saying, it's that it requires wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. It requires wisdom. I think apart from just praying about it and asking God to give you that wisdom, there's so many other like books. Like in my house right now, there's so many books that are there that we usually try and read, because you need a wealth of knowledge to handle all these marriage things and raising kids and even in dating. So I think one of the best ways you can start is by getting yourself books, by reading books about it. Yeah. So that's one of the best ways that has benefited me personally.
Yeah. So let's talk of purpose.
Yeah. What about purpose?
How, like, recognizing your purpose, whether it's before or when you're in a relationship, how do you discover or develop your purpose as a person?
Okay. So that's also very tricky, because most people are like, how do I know what I'm here to do? How do I, and the simple answer is you just try everything.
Yeah.
Like if you want to know whether you're good at singing or playing the drums, or you are a businessman, you just have to try everything, and there's no excuse for I can't do this because I don't have I don't have the resources or anything. Like if you want to if you want to start a company somewhere, or you want to start a business, or you want to gain a particular skill, so like just try everything. Go to the internet, Google how to play or use plates instead of drums, or wanza na kuuza masmoki before like most of the people who have self-discovered themselves and who have known their purpose, they just started out small, and they just started out. For me personally, when it comes to purpose, I think I was just I was lucky enough to just come across a computer when I was in, like, I think Form 1 or something, and after interacting with it, I just fell in love. I fell in love with the code, how it works and all that. So I instantly knew I wanted to go in the direction of being a techie. So, and that's what I pursued, and I became a software engineer up to date. So, but before doing that, I was trying my hand at, because I was doing a lot of like presentation. When I was in high school, I went into sports before I realized soon enough, very early, that I couldn't run much, and I didn't really enjoy it. I went into video games. I played. I even tried. I was doing a lot of presentations in Science Congress. When I go back home, I would teach. I tried teaching like fellow high schoolers or primary in the estate. So I tried a lot of things before I kind of realized that I like computers, and I like being a tech, and I like coding. Yeah, so that's for me that's how it happened.
Yeah, and I think that's great, because I think it's better learning when you discover all that, especially before. It's not with so much pressure, but it's good if you learn before that person. So tell us, how do you pray for a future partner for your girl, future wife?
Hey, you know, when I was, I think it was CU in high school or something, you know, there was a pastor that came and told us, you know, you're supposed to do that. And I was like, oh, pray for your future wife now. You know, it was kind of a bit of a shock because, you know, I'd never heard of it before. But in my own way, when I was, when you're praying for your future spouse, you don't pray for, you pray for whoever she is with right now, or wherever she is, she's being taken care of, so that she doesn't, you know, become such a problem. You know, that's one of the prayers you need to make, because nowadays dating, manze, it's become really tricky, because people are so heartbroken all over the place, such that when they meet, and it becomes such a mountain to climb, because huyu ameenda pale akaheartbreakiwa, this one was sleeping with that one, and then she was left, and it's become such a messy thing. So right now, I think one of the most important things you pray for your spouse even before you meet her is, you know, pray that she's been taken well care of, because dating nowadays has become an extreme sport. You know, it's so tricky. Yeah, but when so I think it's just you know, put her. Oh yeah, because on the perspective of men, put her in your prayers. Pray for her wherever she is, so that, you know, you guys may meet sooner. Because me I used to pray. I just used to pray for her, yani akue asikue so broken and so messed up with, asikue amekuwa so injured, you know, by the time we're meeting. And when I found her, she wasn't. She had a bunch of, you know, messy heartbreaks, but we were able to come through it together. So, and I think one of the things that makes it dating so hard is also, you know, treating your next the way with the perceptions of your last. You know, like looking at your next or your current person you're dating, because we alikuwa at break, so now you're looking at this one with so much any kwa mbali hivi, you're just waiting for mistakes. And the problem is, if you're looking for a mistake, you'll eventually find it, because as I said before, you have to argue. Arguments have to crop up, you know, and those are the times that determine a relationship and how you guys solve that argument. That's what's going to determine the way you guys go on from there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Should there be like a maximum time of dating period?
I can say there should be, but there isn't. There should be, because mkidate sana pia mtaanza kuboeshana and mtaanza kubreak up, you know, because as I said before, arguments lazima come up, and if you're not confined within, like, it's not like being trapped in marriage or anything, but you two, like, you've identified this person, you've dated for 2 years, you've known each other, you've known your worst, you've known that you can sync together, and you're ready to spend, you know, you're ready to go on and move to the next step, then just go on. Because if you continue dating, you see, people are usually scared. People are usually trying to look for the perfect person, the person that would, you know, they're calling them soulmates nowadays. But you know, that's not really something that is ideal. There's no such thing as a perfect person. Whenever you're dating, there'll always be people who are prettier, who are smarter, who are more intelligent, who are way more accomplished than the person you're currently with. So intentional dating, you know, part of the intentional aspect that comes into it is you've identified this person, you two have realized that you're good together and you can go on, and yes, there are problems. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be so many arguments that take place. And yes, and you guys are handling them well. Yeah, I think it shouldn't be such a huge mountain to climb when you guys decide to get married, when you guys decide to move it to the next step, because mnaweza kosana, cause kuna arguments zingine tumekuwa na wife sahihi, after we've been married, that if we were not dating, if we were not married and we were just dating, tungekuwa tumeachana. Like, we would be like, okay, me, I'm done. Hey, manze, because those moments are always there, and they come with such intense emotion that if what marriage does is, it doesn't like trap you. It kind of reminds you that, okay, this is it's not just a thing you guys were doing and you can just leave and come in wherever you want. This is something serious, something to nurture. It's like a marriage is like a baby. You have to feed, you have to wipe the poop, you have to grow, make sure it grows well and all that. So I think if there should be in the constitution, no dating for more than 4 years. It's something that should be there, but it unfortunately isn't.
Yeah.
Which brings up a lot of trouble and a lot of and then but I personally know guys that have dated for like, I don't know, 9 years and then they got married. But I wouldn't advise that, because if you can date someone for 2 years or 3 years, I think that's enough time to know this person. This is enough time to know that, okay, what kind of a person this is and what kind of a person you are and how compatible you two are. So there's no need to hizo zingine fanyeni huko ndani ya marriage sasa.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's a good one. So talk to us about creating relationship boundaries while dating.
Okay, relationship boundaries. So as Christians, I think we're living in a world where there's a lot of immorality that's going on right now. Everything that we are feeding ourselves from the movies we're watching, from the music that is all over the place, it makes it right such that you can just start seeing each other for a week and then mshaanza kukiss, and then the next week mshaitana boyfriend girlfriend. That's a lot of nonsense, because the faster you guys hook up, the faster you break up. When you want to start creating boundaries, start with friends first. Have friends, platonic friendship. Don't start mixing things up. I think when I met my wife, I was in first year, and we were friends for about a year before we started dating. So we started dating around when I was in second year. So we were just friends. We were going to concerts. We were going to places together with other friends, and we were just hanging out. And another thing that does is it gets to tell you exactly what kind of a person this is. Unajua nowadays, your boyfriend girlfriend inakuwa kwenda interview. You see how people go for an interview, dress up well, you memorize things, you like, tell me about yourself, you know exactly what you're going to say. That's how this dating is now, and that's how when you start dating Evo Kimalamala, that's how it is, because someone is just showing you your best, the best side of you, is showing you, I'm this awesome person, anakufungulia mlango, hey, come and have a seat, and it's a bit that's just lying. It's okay, it's human nature, but it's just lying to oneself. So when you're starting out, start out with friends. You can have multiple friends. If you're a guy, you can have multiple friends who are girls, and then build from that. Do not make a stranger your boyfriend. Do not make a friend your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Don't make a stranger. Don't convert a stranger into the person you're dating. Convert a friend to the person you're dating. It's a lot easier that way, because by the time you start dating, you also know each other. Because kama we're friends and you make me mad, I'll tell you what is in my mind. But kama we are like boyfriend girlfriend, especially in our first 3 months hivi, like it will be stakuwa real, until things blow down the road, blow up down the road. Yeah, so yeah, that's how I would advise people to create boundaries. You first start having friends, platonic friendships that meet in public. Don't invite her to your place at night. As in, hiyo ni kutafuta shida. Na wewe kama ni dem, like unaenda kufanya nini kwa boy usiku, and unaenda unamoshea vyombo, as in it's not unamoshea nguo, and it's not you're not even married. So it's good to have boundaries. Hang out as friends, make a friend, start dating your friend, and then from there it's going to be a lot easier, because most of these problems people usually have will be fixed by just starting off as friends. Like kama mimi na yeye tulikuwa na chemistry ingine wazimu sana when we met, like I could feel, but alikuwa ananikazia, like she was like, and I was like, okay, it's cool, we can be friends, and we were friends for so long. We started having such a good rapport and all that, before we decided to take things up a notch. And I think if both parties are on the same page on that, it's just going to be a very it's going to be a smoother ride than.
And I think it's a very important point, because someone told me actually this year, I was so shocked. Something they had like a misunderstanding. So I'm telling the girl, just tell the guy you feel this and this. And she was like, atanichukia. And I was like, what? And I think that's the thing when you don't form friendships, because I think that's what I heard you say.
Yeah. It can lead to some awkward things that can happen. People usually say when they talk friend zone, and it's usually frowned upon. But if you look at it keenly, people are usually, I don't know, they're usually like uncomfortable, or I don't know what it is, of just being a friend to someone, and that's really unfortunate, because when you're a friend with someone, you'd be able to know so much more. You'd be able to have such a good insight of what kind of a person they are. Like you wouldn't be so shocked even when you start dating and all that. Like akianza kiwa watu ukatch sana ati hey manze mimi nimeenda ati you just have a friend to me, as in it usually brings tears especially to guys, but ukicheza poa, if you're a guy out there and you're listening, ukicheza poa with your friends on, usiogope kufriendzoniwa, as in just be there for that person, just be friends. Hata yeye mwenyewe itafika point pia atafunguka macho, because maybe your time ako na boy, she's dating someone already, or she's just seeing you as a friend. But if you're there, you just create a very nice bond between you two. It can lead to something really good.
And on to the last question, how do you package yourself as a guy to look presentable and attractive, maybe?
To look presentable, like the way I'm like being dressed. So I think packaging yourself as a guy, you need to be the kind of person who, when you speak, you're not boyish in your talk. You're talking. When you talk, you don't sound like a small boy. You're getting excited over sijui venye jana usiku you guys sijui club hops sijui ma clubs ngapi, like when in your conversation you should be thinking big. I mean, if you ready for a relationship and ready for marriage, there's some things that you're going to have to to do less of, and some you'll have to do none of, and some you have to do more of. Like, I mean, when you're conversing with someone, you should be looking at, you know, my future. How are we going to do this? How are we going to? What business are we going to start? You know, how do I sharpen my CV? How do I learn to, you know, this particular skill? Maybe I'm a musician now. I sing. You know, maybe let me learn a guitar. Or let me go to a music school and learn, music stuff. Yeah, so I think as a guy, you really need to up your game when you're interacting with someone who you perceive as, when you're interacting with anyone, you really need to be thinking big and thinking forward.
Yeah. So your last words to maybe any guys or youth out there looking for a spouse.
Yeah, so to you out there, marriage it's a beautiful thing, first and foremost. People are usually very scared of this, thinking it's life-sucking, draining, exhausting activity. But it's not. It's a beautiful thing, and if you're there and you're dating and you're seriously dating, it's not a bad thing to consider. Also remember to maintain purity when you're dating, because if you're intentionally dating and you're ready for marriage, you have a whole life to do it. Like, say, I can get it anytime I want, I'm married, niko na yeye hapo nalala naye kwa kitanda moja kila siku, so and it's a good place to be. It's a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable. So hakuna haja kuharakisha hizi vitu sahi, zinato utamu for later. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's what
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian, for coming. And that's it, guys. I hope you've learned a lot, because I have. And that's it for today's topic. Until next Friday. Bye.